Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are strapping in for a pretty high-speed journey right into the heart of the tourism sector.
A sector that is, at its core, all about human connection.
Exactly. And we're putting it head-to-head with, well, probably the most disruptive force on the planet right now, information technology.
Yeah, we've been deep in some really detailed source materials for this. Research papers, case studies, you name it. And they all show how these technologies are changing everything.
So our mission today is to, cut through all the noise.
And really pinpoint the handful of shifts that are fundamentally changing how you plan, how you book, and how you actually experience travel.
And if we're going to talk about IT and travel, we have to start with the big one.
Artificial intelligence.
It's the most important one today. The sources all frame it with this, like ultimate promise, doing things better, cheaper, and faster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that efficiency comes with a huge consequence, and the research is pretty clear on this. Any job that doesn't need a deep, human connection, empathy, feelings, that sort of thing,
Yeah.
it's either going to disappear or get changed dramatically by AI.
That really sets the stakes. And we've seen the programming itself evolve to make this possible. We went from classic coding to natural language processing, NLP.
Right, where machines can understand how we talk. And now we're fully in the era of generative AI, or Gen AI.
Which isn't just processing data, it's actually creating new stuff, text, images, even computer code, all based on patterns it has learned.
It's a non-human culture of creation, really.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, the big takeaway is that as machines get better at all that processing, the one skill that remains valuable for us humans is the ability to connect.
Which brings us back to that concept from the source material, the knowledge pyramid. It frames AI's limits perfectly. At the bottom, you've just got raw data.
Discrete facts. AI handles that perfectly.
And you organize that into information and then into knowledge, which gives you some insight.
But right at the very top, you have wisdom. And wisdom is about using all that accumulated knowledge, but with human judgment and experience, to make a really informed decision.
AI is great at the bottom layers, the data and information, but that top layer,
That's still our territory. And that's what the tourism industry really has to lean into.
that focus on connection, is why tourism isn't just being completely steamrolled like, say, manufacturing.
True, but specific jobs are still really vulnerable. We're seeing ticketing staff just disappear,
Yeah.
replaced by automated booking systems.
And what about basic tour guides?
They're being replaced by these super engaging AR or VR experiences you can get on your phone.
Yeah.
Customer service is also shifting fast to AI chatbots.
And interpreters.
General travel interpretation, yeah, that's already being handled by AI apps and earbuds. Now, specialized interpreters for, like, a diplomatic meeting, they're safe. But for ordering a coffee, that's gone.
So you could see a future with an entirely AI-run hotel. If the machines do all that, what does a human travel agent do to survive?
They have to evolve, and fast. They can't be transactional anymore. They have to become consultants, specialized curators.
So move out of the general booking space.
Exactly, because AI does that faster. They need to get into creating bespoke experiences. We're talking about becoming the #1 expert for, say, sustainable adventure travel, or planning wellness retreats, or accessible travel for people with very specific needs.
So their value isn't booking things, it's their deep, curated knowledge.
It's the wisdom, not the data.
But this shift also creates new jobs, right? It's not all just disappearing roles.
For sure. We're seeing a few key new roles pop up. First, you have the VR and AR travel content creators.
The people actually building those virtual tours of UNESCO sites.
Right, they make the try before you buy idea work. Second, you need AI trainers.
AI trainers, what do they do?
They're the human supervisors. They teach the AI the brand's tone of voice. They check for bias in the data. They make sure the stuff it generates is actually accurate. They're teaching the machine soft skills.
Okay, and the last one was the most abstract. AI orchestrators.
That's basically the new management tier. They supervise whole teams of AI agents, making the big strategic calls. They're like the conductor for a digital orchestra.
That idea of experience leads us straight into immersive realities. VR and AR.
And the history here is fascinating because VR started as a total flop in the 1990s.
Oh yeah, those clunky headsets from Sega and Nintendo. The tech just wasn't ready.
It went dormant until about 2010. Paul Merlucky starts building the Oculus Rift in his garage, and then Facebook buys it in 2014 for $3 billion.
And that was the signal. That and the movie Avatar in 2009 showed people just how powerful an immersive world could feel.
Today, we basically see two types of VR in tourism. There's the computer-generated stuff, like in video games, and then there's 360 VR, which simulates the real world.
And that 360 VR is huge for the try before you buy idea.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The sources had a great anecdote about Thomas Cook Airlines. They made a 360-degree VR tour of their Manhattan helicopter flights.
Well, what happened?
Bookings for that specific flight tripled. It just builds so much confidence. You're not just looking at a picture of a hotel room anymore. You can do a virtual tour. You can walk around the British Museum or the Louvre from your living room.
And then there's augmented reality, AR, which is less about advertising and more about enhancing the experience when you're actually there.
Yeah, overlapping digital info onto the real world. Everyone saw how it worked with Pokemon Go back in 2016.
Right.
But in tourism, it has this amazing function for preservation.
Yeah.
There's a great example from Seoul of an ancient gate that couldn't be physically rebuilt because the city had grown up around it.
So what did they do?
They rebuilt it virtually with AR. So you stand there, hold up your phone, and you see the gate rise up, perfectly overlaid on the modern street.
That's incredible. But does any of this actually replace the need to travel?
The answer is a hard no. The data is really clear on this. 80% of people said VR would not replace real travel.
And what was the reason?
70% said tasting local food was absolutely essential. You can't replicate that. Real travel uses all 5 senses.
So the future is probably blending them. Like with the Apple Vision Pro, which they're calling mixed reality.
Exactly. It's a seamless integration of VR and AR. You're still in your room, but digital information is interacting with you. And the interface is changing eye tracking and a finger pinch instead of a mouse click.
Okay, so we've covered the experience side. Let's shift to the business of travel, to something really radical. Decentralization with blockchain and Web 3.0.
This is a huge one. It's a technology that is designed to get rid of the central intermediaries.
The big monopolists, like the online travel agencies.
Or banks or credit card companies. Blockchain basically transfers trust from a human organization to a secure, math-based algorithm.
That seems like a big leap of faith for a traveler. How is a decentralized system more secure than, say, a huge bank?
It's totally counterintuitive. The security comes from not having the data in one place. It's copied and distributed to millions of computers on a peer-to-peer network.
Okay.
So when a new transaction happens, it's put in a block, and that block is cryptographically linked to the one before it.
Forming the chain.
Precisely. To hack it, you'd have to change a block and all the blocks that came after it on millions of computers all at the same time. The computing power you'd need is just astronomical. It's practically tamper-proof.
So that trust opens up some huge possibilities, especially financially.
Oh, yeah. Think about booking a hotel directly with the host, with no commission paid to a big OTA. That saves money for both of you.
And it could fix the problem with fake reviews.
Absolutely. Blockchain can verify that only people who actually stayed somewhere can leave a review, so you get much more truthful feedback.
What about those universal travel headaches, like a flight delay or lost luggage?
That's where smart contracts come in. There are already blockchain insurance services like Ethrisk.
How does that work?
You sign up, and if the public site data shows your flight was delayed by 2 hours, a smart contract automatically triggers and sends you the reimbursement. No forms, no waiting, no bureaucracy.
And this idea scales up to what people are calling Web 3.0.
Yep. Web 3.0 is the decentralized web, and it's built on blockchain. So instead of services being run by Meta or Google,
They're run by dApps, decentralized apps,
and those are often governed by DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations.
which means the users actually co-own and govern the service themselves.
It's a massive power shift, moving control away from giant corporations and back to the community that actually uses the service.
That idea of autonomy is a perfect segue to our next topic, the workation lifestyle. Remote work has totally changed how and for how long people travel.
It's almost like we're going back to our nomadic roots, like before 10,000 BC, just enabled by tech.
And it doesn't even need super high-end tech, just the normal evolution of the internet, a decent laptop, and security tools like VPNs.
Right, the VPN's the key. It lets you securely connect to your company servers from anywhere. But this lifestyle demands totally different things from the tourism industry.
Yeah, it's not a one-week holiday anymore.
Exactly. Workationers have a lower daily budget, but they travel for way longer, so their accommodation needs are different. Suddenly, a washing machine is a must-have, and being pet-friendly.
And we're seeing providers adapt, like Airbnb giving huge discounts up to 50% for monthly stays.
And local governments are getting in on it too. We see municipalities like Pontremoli and Pistoia in Italy actively trying to attract digital nomads, even offering free Wi-Fi in second homes that were just sitting empty.
Which brings us to the idea of smart destinations. This is where the big data and AI we talked about meets actual destination management.
A smart destination is basically a place where everyone, companies, DMOs, local government shares, and analyzes big data to improve how things work for tourists.
The Barcelona case study from our sources was the perfect example of this. They analyzed 100,000 travel reviews from near the Sagrada Familia.
And the results were really surprising. People used positive words, of course, like amazing and beautiful. But four other keywords were just as frequent: tickets, online, queue, and booking.
So they were spending as much energy talking about the hassle of getting in as they were about the wonder of the place itself.
Exactly. And the crazy part was the administration thought they had already solved the queue problem with an online ticketing system.
So the data showed them their blind spot. The problem wasn't the physical line, but the digital one.
Right. The whole process of booking online was a point of friction. That analysis gave them a clear, data-driven path to make things better.
And we see this on a smaller scale, too, like the analysis for Bergamo.
That analysis showed them their strengths: a big, low-cost airport, their UNESCO walls. But it also showed the weaknesses.
Like being overshadowed by Lake Como and not having good transit to nearby valleys.
And that kind of information tells local leaders exactly where they need to invest their resources to improve the traveler's experience.
So if we just step back and look at this whole transformation, it's just incredible. AI is automating jobs, VR is creating experiences, blockchain is decentralizing the whole business.
But if we tie it all together, we have to come back to the why. The rule of the golden circle. For anyone in this industry, that has to be the guide. You don't sell the what. You don't sell a week in a hotel with good Wi-Fi.
You sell the why.
Precisely. You sell the purpose, the belief, the feeling. You're selling a place where people can disconnect, where they feel reborn, where they connect with their family. That emotional connection is the one thing technology has to support, not replace.
That is the one thing that AI can't replicate.
And that need for human judgment leads us to our final thought. Something for you, the listener, to really consider as AI gets integrated into everything, especially things like self-driving cars.
The biggest problem isn't technical, is it?
No, it's ethical. In an emergency, a self-driving car's algorithm might have to make a moral choice.
A choice between what?
It might have to choose between saving its passenger or saving a group of pedestrians. That moral decision, choosing who to save, who to sacrifice, that's the concept we all have to grapple with as we hand over more of our judgment to non-human intelligence. And that's a question that goes way, way beyond just travel.